Hello everyone, welcome to another Tech tutorial. Now in today's video we're going to build a complete e-commerce website with just HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now we're going to start from absolute scratch and we're going to build this together step by step. Okay, first of all we're going to design the home page, and in the home page we're going to have this Navbar right here. It's going to be positioned at the top of the web page, and then we're going to have this hero section right here. In this hero section we're going to have this text, discover your style, this paragraph text right here, this call to action button right here. Okay, and you're going to notice that when we scroll through this web page, you're going to notice that the navbar is going to be fixed at the top of the web page. You're going to learn how to create this little transition right here. After that, we're going to create the featured product section. You can see right now the featured product section is looking really good. And after that, we're going to create the poster section with this text right here, 20% off new arrivals, winter sales, and this call to action button of shop now. And then we're also going to have this image right here. After that, we're going to create the new arrival section, which is going to have more products. Then after that, we're going to create the testimonials section. You can see the testimonials of users. Then we're going to create the filter. And when we are done with the home page, we're going to create the shop page. And this shop page, you can see the list of products in the shop. And we're going to have this pagination button right here. Then we're going to create the About Us page. You can see this About Us page right here. And then we're also going to create the Contact Us page. And the Contact Us page, we're going to have this Contact Us form, this infos right here. And then we're going to have the map. Okay, this map is going to point to your shop or whatever location you want this map to point to. Now after that, in our shop page, we're going to create the product page. When I click on the product, it's going to open up the product for us, and it's going to show us the product page. And in the product page, we're going to have this image gallery right here. I won't click on an image. The image is going to get displayed right here. Then we'll click on green, it's going to show the green version. We'll click on red, it's going to show the red version. We're going to learn how to make this interactive with JavaScript. And also we're going to design this right hand side right here, this text right here, this price, this add to cart button, this product description right here. Also we're going to have similar products in the product view page. Now we're not going to stop there. We're going to ensure that everything we create in this project is going to be fully responsive. Now when we head to mobile device, I head to, this is actually iPhone 12. I'm viewing this on iPhone 12 Pro right here. Then you can see that this web page is actually fully responsive. To navigate, we're going to have this hamburger menu icon right here. When we click on it, it's going to open up our menu. Then you can click on home page, go back to the home page, and you can see how this looks really good for mobile devices. Okay, now if you're excited about building this project, smash on the like button and leave a comment below. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm to push this content to more people just like you who are going to find this content helpful, and basically just consider it as a little way of you supporting the channel. And lastly, if you've not subscribed, ensure you do that and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next project we're going to build together on this channel. Let's dive into it. Now I've already created the index.html file, and inside this index.html file we'll basically just have this basic boilerplate right here, and we have this link right here that is linking this index.html file to this style.css file right here. Inside this style.css file, I have these color variables here that we're going to make use for in this project, and we have these basic styles right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get Fonts Awesome to our project. So I'm going to go to my browser. I'll just search for Fonts Awesome CDN link, Fonts Awesome CDN. I'll click on this first link right here. It's going to bring me right here to cdnjs.com, and we can see all the Fonts Awesome links right here. I'm going to go for this alt.me.css, okay, and I'll copy the HTML code. I'll head back to the project. I'll go to my index.html file. I'll paste that up here. All right, now we have Fonts Awesome in our project. So next we have to actually get Google Fonts, because I don't like using the built-in CSS font. So I'll just go to my project. I'll search for fonts.google.com. I'll go to fonts.google.com. It's going to bring me right here to this website, and I'll search for the fonts I want. I actually want two fonts. So first of all, I'll first search for Poppins. I'll search for Poppins. Poppins. I'll just click on that. It's going to bring us right here. Then I can click on Get Fonts, and you can see Get Embed Code. I don't want to download it. I just want the code, the CDN link. So I'll go to Get Embed Code. Then I'll go to the import. I just want the CSS import code. So So I'll copy this one, head back to the project, head to my style of CSS file, just paste that up here. Cool. Like I said, I'm going to make use of two fonts. So I want to search for another font. So I'll go back to Google Fonts. I'll search for Pacifico. I'll search for this. It's going to bring me right here. I also want to get this font. So I'll click on Get Font. I want the embed code. So I'll get embed code and I'll go for the import. I'll copy the code. I'll head back to my style of CSS file. I'll just paste that up here. Cool. Now we've added Google Fonts and thought awesome icons to our project, we can start actually working on this e-commerce project. So I'm going to go back to my index.html file. First of all, I'll create a section here. This section is going to have a class of hero section. Inside this section, I'm going to create a nav. Inside this nav, first of all, I'm going to have a p tag that is simply going to say fashion, and it's going to have a class of logo. After that, I'll create another div. This div is going to have a class of wrapper. Inside this div, first of all, I'm going to have an unordered list. I'll create a URL tag. This unordered list, we're going to give it a class name of nav links. And inside this unordered list, we're going to have an li tag. That's going to have an anchor tag in there. This first one, I'm going to go to the index.html file, and the name of this link is going to say home. Okay, I'm going to copy that and drag that down multiple times. 1, 2, 3. And this next one is going to have a name of shop, and the link is going to go to the shop.html file. Now we've not created this file yet, but as we progress in this project, we're going to start creating these other pages. Okay, but for now we're going to work on the index.html file. That's the home page. This third one is going to say about, and the link is going to point to about. This one is going to say contact. It's going to point to contact, and the name is going to be contacts. Now after this unordered list, I'm going to have a div that's going to have a class of menu button. Now after we open this menu for mobile devices, this is going to be the represents the X icon we're going to use to actually close the menu for small screen device. So it's going to have an icon. It's going to have a class of far times. So after this wrapper, I'm going to have another div. This div is going to have a class of nav width. Okay. Now inside this nav, we're going to have two items in here. First of all, we're going to have the icon we're going to use to actually open the menu for small screen devices. And also we're going to have that cat icon at the right hand side of the nav bar. Okay. There's this cat icon right here on the right hand side of the web. If you want to scroll, you can see that cat icon right here. Okay. All right, cool. Inside this nav, we're going to have an anchor tag that's going to go to the cats.html file, and this is going to have a class of cats icon. And inside the anchor tag, we're going to have an icon that's going to have a class of cats shopping. I'll just close this up so you can see the code better. I'll close this left sidebar right here. All right, cool. Now after this anchor tag, we're going to have a div. This div is going to have a class of menu button, and it has to match with the class we gave to this first one. We want to add similar styles to the icon that's going to close the mobile menu for mobile device, and also the icon that's going to close this. We want to add similar styles to them, so they are going to share this menu button class name. Inside this div, we're going to add an icon that's going to have a class of far bars. I'll save that. And to actually run this application, I'm going to click on Go Live because I have Visual Studio Code Live Server extension installed in my Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I just click on Go Live, and this is going to open up this project in a web browser right here. You can see those items we just added right here. All right, cool. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to actually apply our Google fonts. So I'll go to my style of CSS file. Down here, I want to apply a font family to this web page, a font family of Poppins, and the fallback value is going to be sans serif. Okay, now this Poppins we imported right here. That's the Poppins I'm actually applying to this web page. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web, you're going to see that font has been applied to these elements right here. You can see they actually look different. So let's start styling these elements. First of all, I'll target the nav. I'll give the nav bar a display. I'll give it flex. And this is going to ensure that the items of the nav bar are going to be arranged horizontally. You can see right now that these items are no longer arranged vertically. They are now actually arranged horizontally. Okay, that's what that display of flex is going to do for the nav bar. We're going to add a padding to this nav bar, a padding top and bottom of 0, left and right. We want to apply a padding of 5%. I'll give it a justify content of space between. You want a space between all the elements. A height, we're going to use 55 pixels. And lastly, we'll give it an align items of center. I'll save that. Now when I return back to the web, you're going to notice that those styles we just applied has been applied to these elements right here. You can see the padding on the left hand side and on the right hand side, left and right has a padding of 5%, and the items are in the flex display and there's space between each of them. Okay, cool. So next we are quickly going to add the background image of this hero section. So I'll target the hero section class .hero section. That's this hero section class we created in our index.html file. Is hero section class that wraps around everything in the nav bar for now. Okay, so I'll just target that class. I'll give this a height of 100 VH. That's 100 viewport height. Then after that, I'm going to give it a background. And it's going to be a linear gradient. So I'm going to say linear gradient. It's going to be a gradient of 2 colors. And the first color is going to be RGBA 22, 36, 86. Then opacity, we use 0.7. Okay, I'll copy this color, add a comma here, then I'll paste that color right here. And the gradient is going to transition from this color to this color right here. This one is going to have an opacity of 0.5. Now after the gradient, we're going to add a background image. So I'm going to say URL. Now in between this opening and closing bracket, this is where we're going to add the path to the image. We're going to go into the images folder, and this URL is going to point to, where's the hero image? Where is that hero image? The hero image.jpg. Okay, and this image we are using right here is coming from this images folder right here. This images folder right here that houses all the images we are using for this project. I'm going to leave a link that's going to take you to a zip folder that has all these images. Okay, so you can follow along with this project step by step. I'll just close this back up. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web, you're going to notice that we now have that background image right here. Cool. Now I'm going to add more styles to this to ensure that this background is actually at the center of the web page. I'll give it a background size of cover, and I'll give it a background position. I'll use center. I'll save that. Now when we head back to the web page, you're going to notice that the background image is now actually at the center of the web page. So now we can start working on the left hand side of the nav bar, which is going to be this P tag as acting as our logo. So I'll just go back to my style.css file. Up here, I'm going to say nav. Then I'll target that logo class. Say .logo. We'll give this a font size of 1.5 rem, a font width of 500, and a font family. I'm going to make use of the Pacifico, the second font family. I'll just copy this Pacifico. I'm going to make use of this Pacifico. I'll paste that right here. And for the fallback value, we just make use of sans serif. I'll give this a color of primary color primary, which is one of our variable colors up here. This one right here, color primary, this here's color right here. I'll do a letter spacing of 1 pixels and a text transform of uppercase. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, I'm going to notice that this is actually looking really good. Okay, so next we're going to start working on the items at the center, these nav links right here. So after this logo style down here, I'm going to say .nav links. I'll give it a display of flex and a list style of none. Cool. And this display of flex is going to ensure that the items, the links are going to be arranged horizontally instead of vertically, and also it's going to ensure that the bullet point at the end of this list is going to disappear. Okay, you're just basically telling to have a list style of none. Now you're going to notice that we have this X icon right here, this close icon, and this hamburger menu icon right here. Now we don't want this to be visible for desktop and large screen devices, okay? We want this to only be visible for mobile screen device. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy that class. I'll copy this class from here, this menu button class that is shared between these two icons. I'll just copy that, then I'll head to my style.css file. I'll paste that right here. I'll just give this a display of none to ensure that these items are not actually visible for large screen devices, okay? Because we are only going to make use of them for mobile devices and small screen devices. So let's going to style the individual links. So I'll just go back to my style.css file. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll just target the anchor tag. I'll give the anchor tag a text decoration of none. I'll just simply create a general class for that. That way, any anchor tag we create in this web page is going to have a text decoration. I'll say none. Now that text decoration of none is what's going to get rid of that underline on these anchor tags, okay? So right here, I'm going to give these anchor tags a color of white. Imagine top and bottom of 0, left and right 20 pixels, and lastly font weight of 500. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. You can see these links are looking really good. Cool. Now when we hover on this link, I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. Now when we hover on this link, I want it to have a color of hover. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, when I hover on this, you can see that it actually changes in color. Okay, you can see that it's actually green. So next I want to style the items on the right hand side. Okay, so after this menu button down here, I'll say .nav right. I'll give this a display. I'll give it flex. Align items. I want to give it center. Then I add a gap between the items, a gap of 15 pixels. And the reason I'm adding a gap is that for desktop devices right now, we only see this cat icon right here, but we actually have two icons. Remember, we have an hamburger icon right here that we're going to use to open the mobile menu for small screen devices, okay? But we just give it a display of none, so we actually have two items there. So I wanted a gap between this cat icon and that hamburger menu icon, okay? Now I want to add style to this particular cat icon, okay? Remember, we gave this cat icon a class of cat icon, so I'll just copy that class right to my style.css file, paste that class right here. I'll give this a font size of 1.5 rem, and then I'll give it a color of text primary. When I head back to the web, you can see we have that cat icon up here. But we're not done yet. So when we go to the finished project, you're going to notice that this cat icon has a number at the top of it. Okay, so let's actually create that. So I'll go back to my index.html file. Now inside the anchor tag, this cat icon anchor tag, I want to create a span in here. I'll just create a span. And inside this span, I'll just add 3 right here. I can use any number, I'll just use 3. I want to head back to the web. You're going to notice that we now have 3 at the right hand side of this cat icon. But we want this 3 to be positioned at the top right here. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll target the span. So I head to my style.css file. Down here, I'm going to say .cat icon, target the span. I'm going to add some styles to it. I'll give it a background color of color primary, a width of 20 pixels, a height of 20 pixels, a border radius of 50%, a font size of 0.8 rem, and a color of white. Alright, cool. Now we have to actually position it absolute to that cat icon. So we give it a position of absolute, top of -7 pixels, and right of -10 pixels. And when I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that the span we just created is actually in the web page. You can see it's positioned at the top right corner of our web page. You can see it right here. That's because we are positioned this to this anchor tag right here, but this anchor tag right here has a position of static. Now in CSS, the rule of CSS is that you cannot position an element absolute to an element that has a position of static, because element by default in HTML has a position of static. So now what we are going to do to ensure we can position this absolute to this icon right here is that we have to ensure that this icon doesn't have a position or static. Okay, so what we are going to do instead, I'm going to give this icon, I'll give this cat icon a position of relative. I'll save that. Now when I return back to the web page, it's going to be positioned absolute at the top right corner of this icon right here, and the text is not at the center of the content, the span container. So let's actually fix that. I'll just give this display, I'll give it grid, place items, I'll use center to place it at the center right here. Now we're done with the Navbar, let's create the hero content. That's this hero content right here, discover your style, this text, and this call to action button right here, shop now. Cool. So I'll go back to my index.html file, go back to the index.html file. I'll just wrap up this nav. For now, I'm done with the nav. After this nav, I'll create a div. This div is going to have a class of hero content. Inside this hero content, I'm going to have another div. And inside this div, I'm going to have a h1 tag. I'm simply going to say discover your style. It's going to have a class of hero title. And after this h1 tag, we're going to have a paragraph tag. That's going to have this paragraph in there. It's going to have a class of hero subtitle. Another this paragraph tag, we're going to have an anchor tag. This anchor tag, the name is going to be shop now. It's going to have a class of CTA button, call to action button, and the link is going to point to the shop.html file. Now we've not created this file yet, but we are going to create this file in the future. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you can see those items we just added right here at the top left corner of the web page. Cool. Now let's apply styles to them. So I'll go ahead back to my style.css file. Now under this hero section, down here, I'm going to say dot hero section dot hero content. Then I'll give this hero content a display of flex. I want the items to be aligned at the center. So I'm going to align items of center. Justify content, we're going to use center. Text align, we use center. Height of 100%. Maximum width of 1200 pixels. A width of 90%. And a margin of auto. Now this maximum width of 1200 pixels is that when we are actually observing this hero content for large screen device, for screens that are above 1200 pixels in screen size, it's going to have a maximum width of 1200 pixels. Say for example, now you're looking at this web page in a desktop device, it's going to have a width of 1200 pixels. But for screens that the size of the screen is less than 1200 pixels, it's going to have a width of 90%. Okay, that's what these two styles are actually doing. And this margin of auto is to ensure that left and right is going to be positioned at the center. It's going to have a margin left and right of auto, and also top and bottom of auto. Okay, I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web, you're going to notice that those contents are added are naturally at the center of the web page. Next, we're going to apply styles to the individual items. So I'll first of all start with the h1 tag. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. I'll just target that h1 tag. I'll give this a font size of 3 rem, a margin top and bottom of 25 pixels, left and right of 0, and a color of white. Next, I'm going to style the paragraph tag. So I'll paste that underneath here. Target the paragraph tag. I'll simply just give the paragraph tag a color of hash F7. Now I'm going to target the call to action button. This call to action button we created right here. Okay, so I'll copy this right to my style.css. So I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a background color of this color primary right here. A margin top and bottom 25 pixels, left and right of 0. We'll give it a display of inline block. Okay, and the reason I'm actually adding a display of inline block is that I want this to be a block level element, because by default anchor tags are inline level elements. Okay, I want this to be a block level element so that I can actually add margin to it, but I don't want it to be a complete block element. Okay, that's why I'm using inline block. Add a color of white, a padding top and bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 15 pixels, a border radius of 7 pixels. Now this CTA button is going to be a class I'm going to reuse in this project. So I'm going to add 2 styles to it so that I can actually apply these styles for buttons too, not just anchor tags. So for that, I'll give it a border of none, so that for when we add this class to a button, it's going to have a border of none and a cursor of pointer. I'll save that. I won't head back to the web page. You're going to notice those elements we just added right here, and you see that everything is completely styled and they look really good. Now we are done creating the hero section. Now we have to ensure that the hero section is actually fully responsive. To do that, we're going to head to our developer tools. I'll right click on the web page and I'm going to go to inspect. It's going to bring us right here to our developer tools. And right here you can see we can actually expand and reduce the screen size as we wish. Okay, I can see this number counter right here. Now this number counter right here is actually the width of the device we're actually viewing this web page on. Okay, you can notice that as I increase the screen size, you're going to notice it's going to increase. As I reduce, it's actually going to reduce. And this is going to be the value we're going to use to actually add breakpoints to this web page. Okay, so next I want to create another CSS file. I'll go to my project. I'll create another file. I'll call this file responsive.css because I like actually writing my media queries in a separate file. Okay, so I just okay on that. Now I'm going to have 3 breakpoints. The first breakpoint is going to be 1024 pixels, and this is going to be for, let me see, small laptops. I'll just comment that off. Then after that, we're going to have another breakpoint. This is going to be 768 pixels for tablets. I'll comment that off. Then after that, we're going to have another breakpoint for mobile devices. This is going to be 600 pixels. This is going to be for mobile phones. I'll comment that off. Up here, I'll just create a media query. I'm going to say add media max width of 1024 pixels. And I'll copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. This one is going to be 768 pixels. I'll paste that underneath here again. This one is going to be 600 pixels. I'll save that. So first of all, we're going to ensure that the navigation bar is actually responsive. Now when we start to reuse the screen, so you're going to notice that the items of the navbar gets too tight up there. Okay, so what we are going to do for at 768 pixels, we're going to create the mobile menu. So at 768 pixels, first of all, I want to make the navbar, I'll say nav, I want to ensure the navbar is at the top of the web page. So I'll give it a position of fixed, a top of 0, a left of 0, a width of 100 pixels, and also you have to ensure it has a background color. Okay, so I'll give it a background color of white. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. For screen size less than 768 pixels, our navbar is going to have a background color of white. It's not actually been applied because we've not actually linked this responsive.css to our index.html file. Let's do that. I'll just scroll up just the way we linked it to this style.css file. We're going to repeat the same thing. So I just copy this down. Then I'll just say this is going to be our responsive.css. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that when I go less than 768 pixels, you're going to see that the navbar has a background color of white. Alright, cool. Next, we're going to target the navbar bar. Remember, we added a class in here. We added a container right here called wrapper. Let me just call this nav wrapper. We added a class right here called nav wrapper. Okay, so we're going to target this nav wrapper class. Okay, now I'm going to say dots. I just copy that class from index.html file, that nav wrapper class. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a position of fixed, a top of 0, a right of 0, width, we're going to give it 80%. Background color, we're going to use white. We give the text a color. I can just use black. I use black. I add a z-index of 999, so no items can overlap it. I also add a z-index to the nav, so I just paste that. Since they have a position of fixed, we just want to ensure that no items, when we scroll through the web page, items of the web page don't overlap these items. Okay, now when I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that we cannot see our links. Our links are actually there, but I think they have a color of white. but I gave it I think we are supposed to give the color to the anchor tag itself, not the nav wrapper. So down here I'm going to target the links. I'm going to say .nav links. I'll target the anchor tag. I'll just give the anchor tag a color of black because initially the anchor tags, they have a color of white. So since our background is white, we could not actually see them, but now we can actually see them because they now have a color of black. Cool. I want to actually add more styles to these nav links, okay, because I want them to be arranged horizontally and they want them to be at the right hand side right here, okay. So I just come back to my responsive of CSS and then I'm going to say nav links. I'll give it a flex direction of column, a text align of center. Now I'll give it a margin top of 50 pixels. I'll save that. Now I'll head back to the web page. You can see those items right here. I'll just add a height of 100 views to the wrapper. Give it a height of 100 views and I'll save that. Then I'll head back to the web page. You're going to notice those items we just added right here. Cool. I'm going to add more styles to this link. So I'll just go back to the responsive of CSS. I'll give this a display of block or padding top and bottom of 20 pixels, left and right of 0. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that this actually looks a lot better. Remember that we have a cat icon up here, okay, but we gave these ones a z-index of 999, okay, so it's actually overlapping that. So what I'm going to do, I'll just reduce the z-index of this to 99. I'll use the z-index to 99. I'll check it out and we still cannot see that cat icon. So I'll also just add a z-index to the icon so you can overlap the links. So I'll just go to my style of CSS. So I'll search for that. I'll search for that cat icon. I'll give this a z-index of 200, which is higher than 99. So it's going to actually be above the links. And also we have to give those menu button a display of block for small screen device. So we'll just copy the class, this menu button class. Remember, I'll give it a display of none. I'll head to my responsive of CSS file. I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a display. I'll give it block. I'll save that. Now the hamburger icon is actually here, but it's been covered by the nav links because when we open up the nav link, it's going to actually cover out the hamburger menu icon. Then we're going to click on this X to close it up. Okay, so let's quickly add some styles to them. So I'll just go to my style of CSS file. I'll give this a font size of 1.5 rem. Then I'll give it a color of text primary. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web. You're going to notice that these links are actually looking better. It's actually larger. Now we want to position this X up here. Okay, I want to position it absolute to these links right here, this nav wrapper. So let's do that. So I head to my index.html file. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add unique ID to this. Remember that this first one, this time is going to be the close icon. Okay, so I'll give it an ID of close button. Then I'll give this one. I'll give this other one. Where's the other one? This fast fab bars. I'll give this one an ID of open button. Okay. Then I'll copy this close button ID. I'll copy that. I'll go to my responsive.css. I'll paste that right here. I'll use the pound sign because this is an ID, not a class name. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a position of absolute, left of 15 pixels, top of 15 pixels. Now we don't have to give the nav wrapper a position of relative because it already has a position of fixed. It's not having a position of static, which means we can actually position an element absolute to it because it does not have a position of static. That's a position of fixed already. So I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web, you can see that hamburger menu icon is now positioned at the top left corner of this nav wrapper right here. So next, what I want to do is that I don't want these links to be open by default for mobile devices. Okay, I want them to be open when the user click on an hamburger menu icon up here. There's going to slide up. Okay, so I'm going to give these links a transform translate X of 100%. Okay, that way it's going to be inside the right hand side. Okay, and we want to be able to open it up when we click on this hamburger menu icon. So I'll create another class. I'll call this class menu open. It's going to have a transform translate X of 0. Okay, that's just take the links back to their original position. So I'll copy this class. Alright, to my style.css file, my index.html file. Then I'll paste it in these nav links right here. I'll paste it not in the nav links, in the nav wrapper. Paste it right here. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web page, you'll notice that the links are actually out. Okay, but we are not going to be doing it manually. We are going to use JavaScript to actually automate this. We're going to use JavaScript to dynamically add and remove the class. Okay, so I'll just get rid of this. Now I'm going to create a JavaScript file. Now I could just come down here and create a script, but I don't want to do that because we're going to write a lot of JavaScript. Okay, and I want this project to be organized. So I'll just create a new file. I'll call this file script.js. Now this is actually an external JavaScript file. We can link this JavaScript file to our index.html file. So down here I just say script, then the src is going to be script.js. Okay, that way we can write our JavaScript here and it's going to be loaded into our index.html file. So we're going to target the buttons. I'm going to target this close button and I'm going to target this open button, okay, with the ID name. So in my JavaScript file, I'm going to say const open button is equals to documents dot get element by the ID name. I'll just pass in that close button class or the open button. I'll target the open button class first. I'll paste that right here. Then I'll do the same for the close button. We'll say const close button is equals to documents dot get element by the ID name. You'll see the close button. Then we have to target the links. So I'm going to say const links is equals to documents. I think we already have a class name for that, links. I think we already have a class name and it's Navbar. Okay, so I just copy this Navbar class. I'll head back. I'll say document dot. I'll use query selector this time around. I want to target it using the class name. So I'll paste the class name right here. Cool. So now I'm going to add an event listener to the open button. I'm going to say open button dot add event listener. Now I'm going to listen for a click event. When someone clicks on it, I want to run a function. I want to fire an arrow function. Now all this function is just going to do is going to take these our links right here. It's going to access the class list, then it's going to actually add the class we created. Where is that class we created? This menu, where is the class we created? Now responsive to this menu open class is going to add this class. I'll just go back, add that class right here. Cool. I'll save that. I won't head back to the web page. We won't click on this. It's actually going to open up this right here. But when we click on this, we want to actually close it back. So now we're going to add an event listener to the close button. I'm going to say close button dot add event listener. Add a semicolon here. Then I'm going to say on click on this button. I want to run an arrow function. And this function is going to take the links. It's going to access the class list. Then it's basically just going to remove the menu open class. Okay, I'll save that. Now when we head back to the web page, when we click on this, it's going to open up. When we click on it again, it's going to actually close it back up. Now I'm going to add a transition to it. So I'll go to my Navbar, my responsive.css file. I'll just give it a transition for the transform property of 0.6 seconds is in out. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. I'll click on this. It's going to slide that. Click on it again. It's going to slide back in. And also for small screen device and tablets, I don't want this background image to have a height of 100 VH. Okay, remember that for desktop, this background has a height of 100 VH, which means it's occupying the entire viewport height. But for tablets and mobile phones, I don't want that. Okay, so I head to my style.css file. I'll copy the styles for our section, which is this right here. I just copy this class. I head to my responsive.css file. So for tablets, I'll paste that right here. I want this to have a height of 75 view height. Okay, I'll save that. When I head back to the web, you're going to notice that it's going to have a height of 75 viewport height for small screen devices. Now that the hero section is responsive, there's one more thing we have to work on for this navbar. Now you're going to notice that for our final project, when we scroll this hero section of the viewport, you're going to notice that the navbar is going to change styles. It's going to be positioned at the top of the web page. It's going to have a background color of white. Okay, when we scroll off, you're going to notice that transition right there. So let's actually work on that. To do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class. Right to my style of CSS file. Under my navbar, where's my nav? I'll create a class. Create a class right here called .fix nav. Now it's going to have a position of fixed, a top of 0, a left of 0, a width of 100%, background color of white, z-index of 99, and a box shadow of 0, 2 pixels, 4 pixels, RGBA 0.1 opacity. I'll save that. Now I'm going to take this class, I'll copy this class, I'll head to my index.html file, paste this class in my nav. I just give this a class, I'll paste that class right here. I won't head back to the web. You're going to notice that our navbar has a background color of white, okay, but we can no longer see our links. That's because initially our links has a color of white, so with this white background we cannot actually see it. So I'll go back to my style of CSS file. Underneath this right here, I just paste that class right here, that fixed nav class right here. I'll paste that right here. I'll paste that right here. I'll target the anchor tag. I'll give the anchor tag a color of text primary. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web, you're going to notice that the anchor tags now have a color of text primary. Cool. But this header is not going to be like this. This header is only going to be white when we scroll this out of viewport. So I'm just going to add some dummy content to our HTML file. Then after this section, I'll just create a section. I'll just add some dummy paragraph tags right here, so we can try to scroll this web page. That way we have items that we can use to scroll this web page off viewport. So what we want to do is that when the navbar wants to scroll off the viewport, we want to apply this style and fix it at the top of the web page. So first of all, we're going to get rid of this style for the navbar. We're going to get rid of this class because we're going to use JavaScript to actually add it dynamically. Okay, so when it scrolls off the viewport, it's going to be fixed at the top of the web page right here. So I'll go to my JavaScript file. Now I want to add an event listener to the window element. That is the entire window. So I'll say window.add event listener. On scroll, when the page is scrolled, on scroll, I want to run an arrow function. So I'm going to target the navbar. I'm going to say const navbar is equals to documents dot get element by the ID name, and we've not given this navbar an ID name, so I just give this navbar, give it an ID of navbar. I'll save that. Now I just go back to my JavaScript. I'm going to say the ID name is going to be navbar. Then after that, I'm going to check if window dot scroll y is greater than 100. That's if the navbar is scrolled off the viewport. We're going to say navbar dot class list dot add as the class we created, this fixed nav class. I'll just copy the fixed nav class as the fixed nav class as navbar dot class list dot remove fixed nav. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. When we scroll this off the viewport, you're going to notice that right here. When we scroll, the moment when the navbar is about to scroll off the viewport, that class is going to be applied. That way it's going to ensure that even where we are at the bottom of the web page, you can actually see this navbar. Okay, I'll just get rid of those dummy items in our index.html file. I'll just get rid of this. Now we are done with the hero section. Next, we're going to start working on the featured product section. Okay, so I'll go back to my index.html file. I'll give this section a class of featured section. Inside this featured section, I'm going to create a div. This div, we're going to give it a class of header. And inside this header div, we're going to have a h1 tag that's simply going to say featured products. And it's going to have a paragraph tag that's going to have this text right there, and pick bestsellers and new arrivals to elevate your wardrobe. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that we have that header right here. So let's quickly apply some styles to it. So I'll go to my style.css. So I'll just scroll down. Then down here I'm going to say dot header. I'll give this a margin top and bottom of 40 pixels, left and right of 0. I'll give it a text align of center. Now I'm going to target the header h1. So say header, target the h1 tag inside the header. I'll give this a font size of 2.3 rem and a color of text primary. Then I'll target the paragraph tag header, target the paragraph tag. I'll give it a color of text secondary and a padding top and bottom of 0, left and right of 10 pixels. When I head back to the web page, again, notice that we've actually styled this header. Cool. So next, I'm going to create the next div. I'll go back to my index.html. After this, I'll create another div. This div, I'm going to give it a class of products gallery. And inside this product gallery, I'm going to create an anchor tag. I'm going to point to the product.html. Now we're going to create this page later on in the video. It's going to have a class of gallery item. And inside this anchor tag, first of all, I'm going to have an image in here. This first one is going to go into the images folder. It's going to point to product1.png, and the alt there is simply going to say products. After that, we're going to add a paragraph tag. It's going to have a class of product title. I'll just add a random product title right here. And after that, I'm going to have another paragraph tag. It's going to have a class of product price. And I also just add a random price right here, $49.99. Then we're going to add more of this. So I'll just copy this. I'll drag this down multiple times. 1, 2, 3. This other one is going to be product 2. This one is going to be product 3. While the last one is going to be product 4. I'll save that. I won't head back to the web. You're going to notice those items we just added right here. Alright, cool. So let's actually start applying styles to them. So I'll just copy this class up here. This feature section class. I'll copy this. I'll write to my style.css file. Down here, I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a maximum width of 1400 pixels, a width of 95%, and a margin of auto. Now I'm going to target the product gallery, so I'll say dots. I'll just copy the class, the product gallery class. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this the display. We're going to give it grid template columns. As the columns, I'm going to use repeats, auto, fit, min max, 300 pixels, 1 FR. I'm going to add a gap of 15 pixels to each of the items. So now we're going to target the individual items. So down here, I'll say dot product gallery dot. I'll just copy that class, which is going to be this gallery item class. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give them a background color of white and a color of text primary. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. You can see those items right here. Now they are not in a grid display, but they still don't look the best. Okay, that's because we've not actually added styles to the individual items. We've not added styles to the image and these other items right here. Cool. So let's do that. So I'll just go back to the project. I'll copy this. I'll paste that down here. Then I'll target the image, the img tag. Now, since we already give the container a display of grid, we're just gonna give the items in there as the image a width of 100%. Okay, because it's already in the grid display. So give it a width of 100%, and I'll give it a height of 350 pixels. Object fit, we're going to use contain. We're going to add a background color of hash F7. And lastly, a border radius of 10 pixels. So now we'll target the product item. So I'll just copy this, the product title. I'll paste this down here. I'll say dot product title. I'll give this a text align of center, a font size of 1.1 rem, a color of text primary, and a margin top and bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 0. And next we're going to target the price. I'll paste that right here. I'm going to say dot product price. I simply just give this a font weight of 600 and a text align of center. Save that. Now, instead of repeating this text align of center, I'll just add this text align of center to the gallery item so that I don't have to repeat myself for the product title and the product price. Just get rid of this. I'll add it to this gallery item right here. Save that. I want to head back to the web page. You can see they are looking really good. So now you have to ensure that this featured section is actually responsive. Okay, so I'm going to go to my developer tools. So the first thing I'm going to target, we're going to target this h1 tag right here. Okay, so I'll go to my style of CSS file. I'll just copy this header h1. I head to my responsive of CSS. Now for mobile device, I just go to mobile device. Now for mobile device, I want this to have a font size of 1.5 rem. I want to head back to the web page. You can see right now that these h1 tags are actually looking better for mobile device. Now it's looking smaller. Now also for the gallery item, we don't want one item to occupy the full row. Okay, now when we go to response, you're going to notice that when we start to reduce the screen size, these gallery items are going to be responsive. As we are reducing, they are going to wrap and respond to the screen size until when they get to smaller screen, you're only going to have one item per row. Okay, but we don't want that. We don't want one item per row for mobile device. We want 2 items per row. So what we are going to do, we are going to go to our style CSS. So I look for that. Where's that gallery, that product gallery class? I'll copy this. I'll head to my responsive of CSS. So I'll paste that underneath here. And I'll give this grid template columns of 1FR, 1FR. We are basically telling it to display 2 items per row in the grid container. So when I head back to the web, you're going to see we now have 2 items per row. And also I'll just reduce the height of the image. So I'll go to my style CSS. So I'll look for this image. I just copy image class. I head to responsive to CSS. I'll paste that underneath here. I'll just give this a height of 150 pixels. I'll save that. Heading back to the web, you're going to notice that this actually looks very good for mobile devices. Now I'll check this on iPhone 12 Pro. It actually looks really good. So next, we're going to create this poster section right here. Okay, that's going to have this image right here and also this elements at the left hand side. Okay, so let's start working on that. So I'll go back to my index.html file. Just wrap up this featured section. After this featured section, I want to create another section. This section is going to have a class of posters section. Then inside this poster section, I'm going to create a div that's going to have a class of poster container. Then we're going to have 2 items in here. First of all, we're going to have a div with a class of poster left. Then we're going to have another div with a class of poster width. In the poster left, we're going to have a paragraph tag. The first paragraph tag is going to say winter sales. The second paragraph is simply going to say 20% off new arrivals. After that, we're going to have an anchor tag that's going to go to the shop.html file. I'm simply going to say shop now. And we're going to give it a class of general call to action button class, which is CTA button. Inside the poster, we're going to have an image in here. And this image is going to point into the images folder. It's going to point to, poster image.png. Then the alt text is simply going to say poster. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web page, I'll just scroll down and you can see those elements we just added right here. New arrivals and that button right here, and also the image. Okay, so let's apply styles to them. So first of all, I'll just copy the poster section. I'll copy this poster section. Not poster, it's a poster. So we're going to be poster section. I'll copy the poster section. I'll head to my style of CSS file. I'll just scroll down. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a background color of this light green variable color. A margin top and bottom of 20 pixels, left and right of 0. Now we are going to target the poster container. So down here I'm going to say dot poster section dot. I'll copy that poster container class. This class right here. I'll copy this. I'll paste this right here. We're going to give this a maximum width of 1200 pixels, a width of 95 pixels, a margin of auto. On the items, to have a display of flex, align items of center, justify content center, and a gap of 20 pixels. I'll save that. Head back to the web. You're going to notice that these items are now in a flex display. They are arranged side by side. I now have that light green background color behind them. So next, we're going to start styling the individual items. I'm going to start with these paragraph tags right here. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. Now target the P tag. I'm going to target, because I want to target the first P tag, because we have two paragraph tags. So I want to style them, give them different styles. So we have to target them separately. So I'm going to use the first of type pseudo class. I'll give this one a font size of 1.1 rem and a margin bottom of 15 pixels. I'll paste that underneath here again. Then this time I want to target the last of type, that's the last paragraph tag. I'll give this one a font size of 3 rem, a font weight of 500, and a margin bottom of 15 pixels. Next, I want to style the image. I'll paste that right here. Then I'm going to say dot the poster right. Then I'll target the image of that poster right. I'll give the image a height of 500 pixels, a width of 100%, and object feeds. We'll use content. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that these items are actually styled and they look really good. Now we have to ensure this is responsive. So I'm going to go to my developer tools. And you're going to notice that this is highly unresponsive. Okay, so let's actually ensure this is responsive. I'll just take this to responsive. Now, first of all, I want this to have a flex direction of column for small screen devices. Okay, I want it to be arranged vertically down. Okay, so what we are going to do, we just copy this right here. This poster container, we give it a display of flex. We'll copy this. We'll head to responsive of CSS for 768 pixels. That's for tablet. I'll paste that right here. We're going to give this a flex direction of column. And I'll add a padding top of 20 pixels to add a padding at the top of this container. Okay, I'll go back to the web. You're going to notice that this actually looks really good. And when we reduce the screen size for that, you're going to notice that it actually still looks good on mobile devices. Now that padding I added was right here, this padding right here. Okay, to add a padding at the top right here. Now we are not done yet. You actually have to ensure that this one is responsive too. Okay, remember that we give this other paragraph tag, second paragraph tag, a font size of 3 rem. So let's just reduce that for mobile device. I'll just copy this one. HTML responsive for CSS. Let me just paste that right here. Okay, so you're going to share the styles. It's going to share this 2.3 font size. It's going to share this font size of 2.3 rem with this other hero content h1 tag. Okay, so I just save that. Head back to the web. You're going to notice that this is actually smaller. When we increase, you're going to notice that it's going to actually be bigger. The font size is bigger, but when we go less than 600 pixels, you're going to notice that the font size is going to reduce. All right, cool. Now, the last item we're going to ensure it's responsive is going to be this image right here. Remember, we'll give the image a height of 500 pixels. So we're just going to reduce that height. I'll copy this, head to my responsive to CSS. For mobile device, or let me just do that for tablet. It's going to be for tablets. When we change this to a flex direction of column, that's when we're going to reduce the height of the image. I'll reduce the height from 500 pixels to 350 pixels. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. Now this actually looks way better, and you see that the poster section is actually now responsive. Cool. So next we're going to work on this new arrivals section. Okay, so I'll go back to my index.html file and just wrap up this poster section. After this poster section, create another section. This is going to have a class of latest section, and inside this latest section we're going to have the header. So I just copy the header from this featured section. Just copy this header class, close this back up. I'll paste that right here. And instead of featured product, it's going to be new arrivals. And this big tag is going to have this paragraph. Yeah, so I have this paragraph. Discover the latest styles freshly added to our collection. I'll save that. Head back to the web. You can see the header right here. Cool. Now we are going to notice that the latest arrival section is going to be similar to this gallery right here. Okay, but the images are going to be different. So what we're going to do, we're just going to copy the gallery, the product gallery from here. Just copy the product gallery from this featured section. Just swap up the section, then I'll just paste that right here. Now just change the images. This one is going to be product 5. This one will be product 6. This one is going to be product 7. Then this one is going to be product 8. I'll save that. Head back to the web here. You're going to notice that we now have that new arrival section right here, and the image is actually different. Now all we have to do is just apply styles to the section that wraps around it. Okay, so I just copy that section class. I'll just copy the latest section. Just copy this. Now I don't have to actually create styles for this because I don't want to repeat myself. I'll just ensure that this latest section class is going to share the same class with this featured section class. So I'll just scroll up right here. I'll just paste that right here. I'll just add the dot, then I'll paste that right here. Head back to the web page. You're going to notice that it's actually similar to this one. All right, so next we're going to start creating the testimonials section. Okay, so head back to my index.html file. Head back to my index.html. I'll wrap this latest section. I'll create another section. This section is going to have a class of testimonials section. Then we're going to have the header. So I'll just copy the header from this latest section, copy the header, and I'll just paste the header in here. And this header is simply going to say testimonials and IALs. Then for the paragraph tag, we'll just get rid of this and I'll just paste this right here. After this header div, I'll create another div. It's going to have a class of testimonials container. And inside this testimonials container, I'm going to create another div because each of the div in here is going to have a class of testimonials card. And inside this testimonial card, first of all, I'm going to have an image in here. And this image is going to point into the images folder. It's going to point to person1.jpg, and the alt text is simply going to say person. After that, I'm going to have a paragraph tag. There's going to have this name in there, Emily Thompson. After that, I have another paragraph tag. There's going to have this right here, London, United Kingdom. And after this paragraph, I'm going to create a div that's going to have a class of stars. In here, I'm going to have an icon in here that's going to have a class of far star. Then I just drag that down multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. This last one is going to be far star half odds, which is going to represent half a star because these are going to be ratings. After this stars div, not start div, it's going to be stars div. After this, I'm going to create another paragraph tag that's going to have this paragraph in there. Now I'll just close this up because I actually want 3 testimonial card. I'll drag this down multiple times. 1, 2, and I'll just update them. And this second image is going to point to person2.jpg. The name is going to be this name right here, Sarah Martinez. The location is going to be this location right here, and the testimonial is going to be, I'll just get rid of this. I'll paste that right here. I'll expand this one. This one, the image is going to be person3.jpg. The paragraph tag is simply going to be Unapack, and this person is from South Korea. And for the paragraph tag, I just get rid of this one. For the testimonial itself, I just paste this right here. Alright, cool. And when I save this, I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that all those items we just added right here are inside the web page. Now you have to actually add styles to them. So I'll go to my style of CSS. So I just copy this right here. Copy this testimonial section class. I'll copy this class. I head to my style of CSS. Right? Just scroll all the way down. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a margin top and bottom of 50 pixels, left and right of 0. Then down here, I'm going to say dot testimonials section. I'll target the testimonial container. I'll just copy that class, which is going to be this testimonials container right here. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a maximum width of 1200 pixels, a width of 90%, a margin of auto. We'll give it a display of grid, a grid template columns of repeats, auto, fits, min, max, 300 pixels, 1 FR, and a gap 20 pixels. Now I'm going to target the individual items, so I'll just copy this, I'll paste that underneath here, and I'll copy the class for the individual item, which is this testimonial card. I'll copy this, I'll paste that right here. For each of the items, we're going to give them a background color of hash F7, 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 a padding top and bottom of 30 pixels, left and right of 20 pixels, a border radius of 10 pixels, and a text align of center. I'll save that. Now when I head back to the web page, you're going to notice that the items are not in a grid display, but we have to actually style the individual images. Okay, so I'll just style the individual images. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste that down here. I'll just target the image inside this testimonial card. I'll give the image a width of 90 pixels, a height of 90 pixels, object feeds, we're going to use cover, a margin bottom of 5 pixels, border radius of 50%. I want the image to be circular. And lastly, I'm going to add a border of 5 pixels, solid white. I'll save that. Head back to the web. You're going to see that the image is actually styled. So now we're going to style these other items below the images. Okay, we're going to start with the paragraph tag. I'll paste that right here again. I'll target the paragraph tags. I'll give them a color of text secondary and a font size of 0.9 rem. Now I'm going to target the first paragraph tag. I want to add unique style to the first paragraph tag. I'll paste that right here. I'm going to say colon first of type. I'm going to use the first of type pseudo class. I'll give it a font size of 1.3 rem, a font weight of 600, and a color of text color primary. This text color primary. So last, we're going to target the stars container. So I'll paste that again. I'll just target the dot stars container. That's this stars container right here. This stars container wraps around these stars icons. Okay, so I'll just target that. We're going to give it a color of this hex color right here. Then I'm going to add a margin, top and bottom. I'll give it a margin of 25 pixels, left and right of cell. Then we'll give it a font size of 1.1 rem. Save that. Head back to the web page. So all these elements below this image are actually now styled and they look really good. And there's no gap between the individual testimonial card. Why is that? Okay, instead of gap, a grid area. We set grid area instead of gap. So I just add the gap right here. I'll save that. Yeah, the gap has been applied. So now we have to ensure this is actually responsive. I just go to our developer tools and it looks responsive. Go to iPhone 12 Pro. It actually looks responsive. And with that, we are basically done with the testimonials section. So next, we are going to start creating the footer. Okay, so I head back to the index.html file. I head back to the index.html file. Just wrap up this testimonial section. After this section, I'm going to create a footer tag. Inside this footer tag, we're going to create a div that's going to have a class of footer container. Inside this footer container, I'm going to create another div that's going to have a class of footer about. Inside this footer about, first of all, we're going to have our logo here. So I'll just copy that p tag from our navbar. Just copy this, just wrap up this section. I'll paste that right here. After that, I'm going to create another paragraph tag that's going to have this paragraph in there. After this paragraph tag, I'll create a div. This div is going to have a class, a social icons. Inside this div, we're going to have an anchor tag. This anchor tag is not going to go anywhere. And inside this anchor tag, we're going to have an icon with a class of Facebook F, not fab. I'll just drag that down multiple times. 1, 2, 3. The next one is going to be fab X Twitter. The next one is going to be fab Instagram. And the last one is going to be fab Pinterest. After this footer about div, I'm going to create another div that's going to have a class of quick links. Inside this, we're going to have a h3 tag that is simply going to say shop. After this h3 tag, I'm going to have an ordered list. Inside this unordered list, we're going to have an li tag that's going to have an anchor tag in there. This anchor tag is not going to lead anywhere. This first one is going to be new arrivals. I just drag that down multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one is going to be featured products. The next one is going to be on sale. Then we're going to have categories. And lastly, we're going to have best sellers. I'll just copy this div, this quick links div we created. I'll paste that underneath here. Instead of shop, there's going to be customer service. This one is going to be contact us. contact us. Next one is going to be FAQ, frequently asked questions. This one is going to be shipping and returns. This next one is going to be terms and conditions. And the last one is going to be privacy policy. After these quick links, I want to create another div. This one is going to have a class of newsletter. Inside this newsletter div, we're going to have a H3 tag that's going to say stay updated. After that, we're going to have a paragraph tag that's going to have this paragraph in there. Subscribe to get the latest updates on new arrivals and special offers. After this paragraph tag, we're going to have a form. Inside this form, we're going to have an input. This input is going to be of type text. It's going to have a place order of enter your email. After that, we're going to have a button that's simply going to say subscribe, and it's going to be of type submit. After this form, we're going to have an image. This image is going to point into the images folder. It's going to point to payments.png, and the alt text is going to be payment methods. And after this entire footer content, I'm going to create another div here that is going to have a class of footer bottom. And inside this footer bottom, I'm going to have a paragraph tag that's going to have this paragraph in there. Copyright 2025 Igbo Tech YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll save that. I'm going to head back to the web page. You're going to notice those items we just added right here. Alright, so now we have to actually add styles to these items. So I'm going to head to the style of CSS file. Just scroll all the way down. And down here, I'm going to say footer. First, I'm going to give the footer a background color of #F7F7F7. A padding top of 80 pixels, left and right of 0, and bottom of 50 pixels. A border top left radius of 30 pixels. I'll just drag that down. And also a border top right radius of 30 pixels. Then margin top of 50 pixels. Okay, now I'm going to target the footer container. So down here I'm going to say footer. I'll just copy that footer container class name. This footer container, I'll just copy this. Now paste that right here. I'll give the footer container a maximum width of 1400 pixels, a width of 90%, margin I'm going to use auto. Then I'll give it a display of grid template columns, repeat, auto, fits, min max to 30 pixels, one fraction, one file. Add a gap between each of the items, a gap of 20 pixels, a padding bottom of 30 pixels, also a margin bottom of 20 pixels. And lastly, I want all the colors to have a color of text primary. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you can see that these items are now in a grid display and they are well arranged now. They're actually looking better now. Now we have to actually start styling the individual items. Okay, this and this. So I want to start from the left hand side. The styles we added to this logo is not being applied. Let me check why. I think it's because, let me just scroll up. We added a nav at the back of these logos. That way it's going to target only the logo inside the nav bar. I'll save that. Head back to the web. Yeah, just scroll back down. Yes, I'm going to target this paragraph tag. Okay, then I'm going to say footer container footer about. Target the paragraph tag in there. I want to target the last of type, the last paragraph tag. Remember that this logo is also a paragraph tag. Okay, we just applied style to it to make it look like a logo. So you have two paragraphs. So I'm going to target the last paragraph, which is this one. Okay, so I'll target the last of type. I'll give you a font size of 0.9 rem, a margin bottom of 30 pixels. Or let me just do a margin top and bottom of 30 pixels, left and right of 0. Then line height of 30 pixels. I'll save that. Check out the output. Yeah, it's actually looking better. So next we're going to style these social links. So down here, I just copy up to these points. I'll paste that underneath here. Then I'm going to target the social links. Is this social links we give to the class name? Let me check. I think we gave it a class of, what is that? Social icons, not social links. It's social icons. So I just copy that. Then I'll paste that right here. Social icons. We'll give these social icons container a display of flex and a gap of 30 pixels. And for the individual anchor tags, I copy this, I paste that underneath here, target each of the anchor tags. I give them a font size of 1.4 rem and a color of text primary. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. You can see they're actually looking better. Now when we hover on this link, I just want to give them this green color. Okay, so I'll just paste that right here again. I'll target the anchor tag. I'm going to say on hover. I'm going to give them a color. This time it's going to be of color primary. I'll save that. That way when we hover on this link, you can see that hover effect right there. Cool. So then we can start styling this one. Okay, so since this one and this ones are actually similar, the styles we applied to this one is going to be applied to these ones right here. Let's do that. So down here, copy up to this point. I paste that underneath here. I just copy that quick links class, which is this quick links class. I copy this. First of all, I'll target the H3 in there. Target the H3 in there. We'll give this H3 tag a margin bottom of 15 pixels. Now I'm going to target the unordered list. So I just copy this. I paste that underneath here. Target the unordered list. Simply just give it a list style of none. Then now target the LI in there. I want each of the LI tags to have a margin bottom of 12 pixels. And now we're going to target the anchor tag inside the LI tag. We'll give it a color of text primary and a font size of 0.9 rem. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. You can see these items are actually looking better. They look really good. Now we're going to focus on styling the items at the end right here. Okay, this newsletter section in the footer. Let's do that. So I'll just down here I'm going to say footer dot footer container dot newsletter. I think it's newsletter. We give that class in. I think it's newsletter. Let me check it properly. Yeah, it's newsletter. Now I actually want to add styles to the H3 tag, so I'll say H3. We'll give the H3 tag a font size of 1.3 rem, margin bottom of 10 pixels, and lastly color of text primary. Now I'm going to target the paragraph tag, so I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. I'll target the paragraph tag. Okay, we'll give this a font size of 0.95 rem, a color of text secondary, margin bottom of 20 pixels, and lastly we're going to target the form. So I'll say the form. I'll give this a display of flex, justify content, center, align items, center, then a gap of 8 pixels between the input and the button. Now we're going to target the input, so I'll just copy this. I'll paste that right here. Target the input inside this form. I give the input a padding top and bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 12 pixels, a border radius of 4 pixels, a flex of 1, occupy as much space as you can get. That's why I'm giving it a flex of 1. Give it a minimum width of 0. Outline, we give it none. Then border, I'm going to give it 1 pixel solid var color primary. And we can also style the placeholder inside this form. So let me just target the placeholder inside this input. So say colon placeholder. I also give the placeholder a color of #AAA and a font size of 0.9 rem. Then next we're going to target the button inside the form. Okay, so copy this, paste that right here. We'll target the button. We give the button a background color of color primary, a color of white, a padding top and bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 16 pixels, a border of none, a border radius of 5 pixels, a font weight of 500, and a cursor of pointer. Now I want to add a hover property to this button, so I just copy this, I'll paste that underneath here. Now when someone hovers on this button, I'll give it a background color of hover color. Then finally we're going to target the image of the newsletter, okay, the payment option or payment method image. So I'll target the image in this newsletter. I'll simply just give the image a width of 100%. Since this image is inside a grid display, these items are inside a grid display, I'll just give the image a width of 100%. And also add a margin top of 20 pixels. I'll save that. And when we head back to the web page, you can see all these items of this footer of this newsletter right here actually styled, and they are looking really good. So the last item we're going to work on for the footer is going to be the footer bottom. So let's add styles to this footer bottom. I'll go back to my side of CSS file down here. I'm going to say footer dot. I'll copy that footer bottom class. I'll copy this class. Alright, to my style of CSS file, I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a text align of center, a color of text primary, and finally a font size of 0.9 rem. Save that. When I head back to the web, you can see that this footer bottom is completely styled. Copyright 2025 Egbon Tech YouTube channel. Now we have to ensure that the footer is actually responsive. So I just go to my developer tools and check if this is responsive. And it looks really responsive. It looks responsive and it looks really good. Cool. Now we are basically done creating the home page of this website. We created the home page, we created the hero section, the featured product section, the poster section, the latest new arrival section, testimonials, and the footer. So now we're going to create the shop page. Okay, so I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code. I'll create another file. I'll call this file shop.html. So I head to my index.html file. I'm just going to copy all the code we've written in this index.html file, copy everything, then I'll just paste that in our shop.html file. Now I'm going to actually get rid of most of these items. I'll just get rid of most of them except for the hero section. I'll get rid of this hero content. I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of these other sections. For now, I'll get rid of the footer too. Just get rid of all this. Get rid of them. Then I'll save that. Now for the hero section, we're going to have for our shop page is going to be different from the one we're going to have for our home page. Okay, for the shop page, we're going to call this one hero general because it's going to be the same hero section that other pages like the contact page and the about page is going to actually use. So we just call it hero general. Hero general. I'll save that. Then I think that's it. Yeah. So I just go to my shop page. I click on shop. It's gonna bring us right here to this shop page. Okay, cool. Now for the finished project, when we go to our shop page, you will notice right now that the hero section is actually different. Okay, that's how we want the hero section to look like for our shop page. Okay, so I'll go back to my project now. In this navbar, we're going to have this hero general, and inside this section we're not going to have a hero content div. Instead, we're going to have a header. Inside this header, we're going to have an h1 tag that's going to say our shop. After this h1 tag, we're going to have a paragraph tag that's going to have this paragraph, and then discover quality and style in every piece we offer. I'll save that. And when I head back to the web page, I just click on shop. You're going to notice those items we just added right here. Cool. So now we have to apply styles to them. So I'll go to my style.css file. Down here, I'm going to say dots. I'm going to copy that. Now we have a new hero class. Where is that? I'll go to my shop, not my index.html file. This hero general, I'll just copy this. Sorry, I'll copy this properly. I'll copy this. I'll head to the style.css file. Paste that right here. And this is going to have similar styles as the hero section we created. So I just copy some styles from that one, so I don't have to write it all over again. I'll just copy it from here. The only thing that's going to be different is going to be the height. So I'll just go back down. I'll paste that right here. And instead of having a height of 100 v, it's going to have a height of 400 pixels. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you can see that that background image has been applied, and this is looking really good. So next, we're going to style this item, the items inside this header. So down here, I'm going to say dot hero general dot header. Sorry, not dot header. I just target the header tag. I'll give this a display of flex, align items of center, justify content. We use center, a height of 100%, color of white or padding, top and bottom. We'll give it say left and 20 pixels, and a text align of center. Save that. Head back to the web page. You can see that these items are actually styled. Now remember, we'll give it a display of flex. That's going to arrange them side by side, but we want them to be arranged vertically. Okay, we want them to be in a flex container, but we also want them to be arranged vertically. So instead of having it arranged horizontally, we just give it a flex direction of column to ensure that they are in a flex container, yes, but they are going to be arranged vertically. Now I want to style the h1 tag, so I just copy this. I'll paste this underneath here. I'll target the h1 tag. I'll give you a font size of 3 rem and a margin bottom of 15 pixels. I'll save that. Yeah, this is looking way better. So next, I'm going to create a section, my shop.html file. I'll just wrap up this section, create another section. This section is going to have a class of shop section. I have some styles to this. I'll just copy this. I'll go to my style.css file. I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a margin top and bottom of 70 pixels, left and right of auto, a maximum width of 1400 pixels, and a width of 95%. So next, we have to actually add the items of the shop section. Okay, the items are going to be inside the shop section. Now you're going to notice that the shop section, this shop section is exactly similar to our product gallery. Okay, which means we can use these styles we created for our product gallery and also the items for our product gallery when we created our home page. So I'll go back to my index.html file, which is the home page. I'll just copy this product gallery. I'll copy that. I'll head to the shop.html file. Just paste that right here. Okay, then I'll save that. When we head back to the web page, I'll go back to our project. You can see right now that on our shop page, we actually have these items right here. Okay, now we need 4 other items, so I'll just copy the other one from the latest product section. Just copy the items from this one. I don't need to copy the product gallery div. I've already created a div. I'll just copy the items in there, the items inside div. Copy this. I head to my shop.html file, paste that right here. Then you can see that we have these items in our shop page, and also when we go to mobile device, they're actually responsive too. So next, for the shop page, we're going to create this pagination section right here, this pagination right here. So after the shop page div, I'm going to create another div. This div is going to have a class of pagination. And inside this div pagination, we're going to have these items in here, these anchor tags right here. You can see this first one, and you can see that this first anchor tag is going to have a class of page and previous, and also this unique code right here. Then it's going to have this next one is going to have a class of page and active. This is going to be the active class. Then you can see the other links right here. Now save them. Now let's actually add styles to this. So I head to my style.css file. Down here I'm going to say dot. I'll copy the pagination class from the shop.html file. Copy the pagination class. I head to the style.css file. Paste that right here. I'll give this a display of flex, a justify content of center, align items of center. We're going to add a gap of 6 pixels and a margin top of 40 pixels. Then next we're going to target the pagination page. Okay, this page class inside this pagination, these page classes. Okay, we're going to target that page. So dot page. I'll give you a display of inline block, a padding top and bottom 8 pixels, left and right 15 pixels, color of text primary, a border of 1 pixel solid light gray, border radius of 5 pixels, and a font size of 0.95 rem. And when someone hovers on this, I also want to add some styles to it, so I'll paste that right here. I'm going to say on hover. When someone hovers on this pagination, I'll give it a background color of hover and also a color of white. And also I'm going to target the active pagination class. So pagination dot active. We just give it this style right here. I'll just copy this and I'll paste that right here. Then this one is going to be color primary. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. You can notice that we have this pagination right here and it looks really good. So finally we have to add our footer to this shop page. So I'll go to the index.html file. Remember I said we're gonna add our footer later on. So I'll just copy the footer. I'll copy this footer. I'll go to the shop.html file. After this section, I'll paste that right here. I'll save that. I'm gonna head back to the web page. You can see that we're done with the shop page. You can see the footer right here. And now we have to ensure that this is actually responsive. Now, this product gallery is already responsive because we already created this in our index.html file. And also these ones, the footer is also responsive. So now you have to ensure that this header is actually responsive. So when I head to mobile devices, you'll notice that this H1 tag, this our shop, is very large for small screen device. Okay, so we just want to reduce the font size a bit. So I'll go to style CSS file, look for that. I'll just copy this. I'll head to my responsive of CSS for mobile devices. I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a font size of 2 rem for mobile devices. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. You notice that it's actually smaller for mobile devices, and this shop page looks really good. So next we're going to start creating the About Us page. Okay, so I'll go back to the project. I'll create another file. I call this file about.html. Now I just copy everything from our shop.html file. Copy everything from here. Then I'll just paste that inside this about.html file. Then I'll get rid of the items inside of this section. I'll get rid of this. I'll just get rid of this. Then I'll just update this. Instead of the H1 tag to say our shop, it's going to say about us. Then the paragraph tag is simply going to say learn more about our story, vision, and what drives fashion. And after that, I'll create a section. I'll give this a class of about section. Inside this about section, we're going to have a div. We're going to have a class of about us. Then this is going to be divided into two. First of all, we're going to have the left hand side. So we have a class of left. Then we're also going to have another div that's going to have a class of white, which is going to be abatos white. In the left hand side, we're going to have an image that's going to point to the images for that. It's going to point to about image.jpg. And the right hand side, I'm going to create a div. The div is going to have a class of info. And inside this div, I'm going to have a h2 tag. I'm simply going to say welcome to fashion. And after that, I'll create a paragraph tag. Paragraph tag is going to have this paragraph in there, and after that, we'll create another paragraph tag which is going to have this paragraph in there and a full stop. I'll save that, head back to the web page, and I'll click on the about page. It's going to bring us right here. You can see those items we just added right here. So we're going to actually add styles to this. So I'll just copy this about section. I'll copy this. I'll head to the style CSS file, scroll all the way down, then I'll just paste that right here. I'll give this a margin 60 pixels top and bottom, left and right of auto, a maximum width of 1400 pixels, and a width of 90%. Then down here, I'll target the about us container dot about section dot about us. I'll give this a display. I'll give it flex. Align items, I'm going to give it center. We add a gap of 40 pixels between the items, a padding of about 10 pixels, a background color of hash F7, F7, F7. We're going to add a box shadow of 0.2 pixels, 4 pixels, RGBA 0, which is this one, 0, 0, 0, and opacity of 0.1. Get rid of one of these, closing brackets. And lastly, a border radius of 10 pixels. Now I want both the left hand side and the right hand side to be equal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give each of them a flex of 1. Okay. In the final project, when we go to our final project, you're going to notice that this side is equal to this side right here. Okay. So that's why we're going to give them a flex of 1. So each of them are going to occupy 50%, 50% here, 50% here. So I'll give the dot left hand side flex of 1. Then I also give the right hand side a flex of 1. Give the right hand side a flex of 1 too. And I'll start styling them individually. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. I'll target the image in the left hand side. I'll give the image a width of 100%, a height of 500 pixels, a border radius of 10 pixels, and object feeds of cover. I'll save that. I'll head back to the web page. I can see that the image is completely styled and the image is looking good. Now we're going to focus on styling the items at the right hand side of this Abasos container. So I'll go back to style CSS. So I just copy the right hand side. I'll copy this side. I'll paste that underneath here. First of all, I'll target the H2 tag. For the H2 tag, we're going to add a font size of 2.5 WEMA, a color of text primary, and a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Now I want to target the paragraph tag, so I'll paste that underneath here again. I'll simply just give the paragraph tag a color of text secondary. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, I'll see that these items are styled, but what I want to do next is that I want to add a margin between this first paragraph tag and this second paragraph tag. So I want to target it using the first of type. So down here, I'll just copy this. I'll paste that then here. Then I'll say colon first of type. That's the first paragraph tag. I'll simply just give this a margin bottom of 20 pixels. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. You can see that they are actually styled. Now next we have to actually ensure they are responsive. So I just go to developer tools, go to responsive, and they are highly unresponsive. So what we are going to do is that for small screen device, we're going to give this container a flex direction of column. So I'll just go to the about us. This about us will give a display of flex. I'll copy this. I head to my responsive.css. Then I want to apply this for small laptops. From small laptops, I'll just paste that right here. I'll give it a flex direction of column. I'll save that. Now you're going to notice that for screen size less than 1024 pixels, it's going to have a flex direction of column. Cool. Now we also have to adjust the image because we gave the image a height of, I think we gave the image a height of 500 pixels. So we just have to adjust that height. I'll copy this, head to the responsive of CSS. I'll just paste that underneath here. I'll give this a height of auto. I'll save that. Head back to the web page. You can see that when we reduce the screen size, the image is going to be responsive. Okay, as we increase and reduce the screen size, the image is going to reduce and increase accordingly. Now I think we are done with the About Us page. We are basically done with the About Us page. So we're going to create the next page. It's going to be the Contact Us page. So I'll just go back to my Visual Studio Code. I'll create another file. I'll call this file contact.html. Then I'll just copy everything from this About page. I'll paste that in this contact page. Then I'll get rid of this section, get rid of this. Then this one is, instead of About Us, it's going to be Contact Us. Then the subtitle is going to be this right here. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out anytime. Then after this, I'll create a section. It's going to have a class of contacts section. Inside this contact section, I'm going to have a div that's going to have a class of contacts container. First of all, I want to have a form. This form is going to have a class of form container. Inside this form, we're going to have a div that's going to have a class of inputs container. Inside this input container div, I'm going to have an input in there. This is going to be of type data. It's going to have a placeholder of your name. And I just copy this and drag this down. This one is going to have a placeholder of your email. And drag that down again. And the last one is going to be a text area. I'll get rid of this. I'm going to have a placeholder of your message. After that, I'll create another div. I'm going to have a class of button container. And inside this button container, I'm going to have a button. I'm simply going to say send message. After this form, I'm going to create another div. This div is going to have a class of contacts details. And this contact detail, I'm going to have a div that's going to have a class of info. Inside here, we're going to have a h3 tag that's going to say address. And then we're going to have a paragraph tag. It's actually going to be the address. I'll just copy this and I'll drag this down. And after that, we're going to have the email. The email is going to be info@fashion.com. Then after that, I'll just drag this down again. And this one is going to be phone. And for the phone, I'll just paste this random phone number right here. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, I'll just go to our contacts page. Again, notice those items we just added right here. Okay, so next we're going to apply styles to them. So I'll go back to my style of CSS. So first of all, I'll copy this contact section class. Then I head to my style of CSS. So I'll scroll the way down and I'll paste that right here. I'll give you the margins up and bottom of 50 pixels, left and right of auto. I'll give it a width, a maximum width of 1200 pixels and a width of 90%. I'm going to target the contact container. So down here, I'll say .contact section. I'll target that contact container class we created. Sorry, not in the contact.html file. It's contact container right here. Copy that. Then I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a display of flex, a gap of 50 pixels, and a margin bottom of 30 pixels. Now I want the form container and the content details container to have equal space to occupy 50-50%. So I just paste that right here. I'll say dot contact form. I'll give this a flex of 1. I'll do the same thing for the contact details. I'll drag that down. Then here I want to say dot contact details. I'll give it a flex of 1, 2. So now I want to apply styles to the input and the text area. So I just add unique class to them. So I just give this a class of input. I'll copy that class. Copy this class. Copy this. I'll paste that right here. Then I'll paste that right here. And the reason I'm adding classes to it is because if we target the input directly, it's going to style the first and the second one, okay? It's not going to target the test area because this is a test area, not an input. So by adding this class of input, we can actually target them at the same time, okay? Then I'll go to my style of CSS file. Then I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. And I'll just target that class I just created, dot input. We'll give them a width of 100%, a margin bottom of 20 pixels, a height of 50 pixels. I'm going to add a padding, top and bottom of 0, left and right of 15 pixels. Outline, we're going to give it none. Then color, give it test secondary. Border radius of 7 pixels and a border of 1 pixel solid light gray. I want to head back to the web page. The styles are not being applied. Why is that? I'll head back to my style of CSS file. Contact section. From the contact section, I'll target the contact container, then the contact form. I think that should be the contact section. Not contact form container. Sorry for that. The form container, not the contact form. I'll paste that right here. Head back to the web page. Yeah, the styles have been applied now. And also this is supposed to be gap, not grid area gap. I'll save that. I head back to the web page and the styles are being applied now. And also we have to update this too. I just copy this. I'll paste that up here. It's not contact form, it's form container. I'll save that. I won't head back to the web page. You're going to notice that the form is actually looking really good now. Now you're going to notice that the test area is not looking the best. So we are going to add unique styles to the test area itself. So I'll just copy this. Instead of targeting the general input class we created, I'll just target only the test area. We'll give it a height of 150 pixels, a resize of none. I don't want to be able to resize this. And lastly, padding top and bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 15 pixels. I'll save that. I will head back to the web page. The styles are not being applied. Just refresh. They are still not applied. They are not overriding the styles we add to it with that input class. Okay, so what we are going to do, just add important here. Add important. I'll add important. That way is going to override. That way is going to override the styles we added with the input class we added to it. I'll save that. Sorry. I'll save that. Head back down. Yeah, it's going to override those styles. And you can see the test area is looking good. Now next we just add that general call to action button to that button. So I'll go to my button. I'll create a class of CTA button. Okay, that custom style we created. So I'll just go back and you can see that the style is actually applied. Now we are done with this form input. Okay, so next we're going to style this other part of the contact form. Okay, so I just copy this contact details class. Alright, to style CSS file down here, I want to say dot contact section. Then I'll paste that right here. Then I'll target the info container inside this contact details. That's the info container that is going to wrap around each of the info. Okay, this info container. We're going to add a margin bottom of 30 pixels and a color of test secondary. Then I'm going to target the h3 tag of the info. I'll copy that, I'll paste that right here, target the h3 tag. I'll simply give this a margin bottom 5 pixels. I'll save that. When I head back to the web, you can see that this actually looks really good. So the last thing I'm going to work on for this contact page is that we're going to add our map. So I'll go back to my contact.html file. After this form container, I'll just wrap this up. After the contact container general, I just wrap this up. After this contact container, create a div. And inside this div is where we're going to actually add our map. So I'll just go to maps.google.com, go to maps.google.com. Now here you can actually search for the location you want to put for that map. You can actually put your shop location or basically any location you want to put. Just search for the location right here. For this one, just click on this New York USA location. Then I'll go to share. Then I'll copy I'll go to embed the map. Then I'll copy the HTML. I head back to the project. I'll paste that inside this div right here. Now I'm going to give this a height. I'll just format the document first of all. Format the document. I'll give this a height. It already has a height of 450 pixels. Then I'll just give it a width of 100%. I'll save that. I want to head back to the web page. I'll head back to our project, and you can see the map has been added. You can see the map right here. I'll increase this height to 500. I'll increase it to 500. I'll save that. Yeah, this looks really good. So next we have to ensure this is responsive. So I'll just go to developer tools, and this is not responsive. So all we just have to do is that we just give it, just like we give the about us page, we just give this a flex direction of column. So I'll look for the class. It's going to be this contact container. I'll head to my responsive.css. I'm going to add this for 768 pixels. I'll scroll down there, I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a flex direction. I'm going to use column reverse. I'll save that. I will head back to the web page. When we go less than 768 pixels, again, there's going to be in a column reverse basis. When I go to iPhone 12 Pro, and this is actually really, really good. Cool. And with that, we are done creating the contact us page. So next, we're going to start creating the product page. Now, when we click on a product, it's going to take us to this product page right here. So we're going to start creating that. I'll create a new file. I'll call this file product.html. Now I'll go to my about page. I'll just copy everything from here. I'll paste that in this product.html page. Put that here. I'm going to get rid of everything, including the header. I'll get rid of the header. I don't need the header. And also I'll get rid of this about section. I'll get rid of this. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll save that. I'll head back to the web page. Then I'll just go to the shop page. Then I'll click on this. It's going to bring me right here. For this one, I don't want to have these posters. Okay, so I'll just get rid of it. I'll get rid of the section, get rid of this. Then I'll just get rid of this. I just want only the navigation bar for this page. I'll save that. I head back to the web page. You're going to notice that we no longer have that. And also I'll get rid of our footer for now. Get rid of the footer for now, so it doesn't actually interfere with what we are doing. Just get rid of it for now. Now go back to the web page, and we have the navbar right here, but the navbar has a color of white. The links have a color of white, so we cannot actually see it. So what we are going to do is that for this particular page, I'm going to give the links a color of black. So I'll just give this a class of product page links. I'll copy that. I had to style CSS file. I'll just scroll the way down here. I'll paste that right here. Sorry, add a dot. I'll paste that right here. I'll target the another list, then the anchor tag. I just give them a color of test primary. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, this particular one is going to have a color of black, and the other ones are going to have a color of white, but this particular one for the shop page is going to have a color of black. Cool. So next, I'm going to go back to the product.html file, create this new section. After this navbar, I want to create a section. This section is going to have a class of product section. Inside this product section, I want to create a div that's going to have a class of product container. And this product container is going to be divided into two parts. First of all, we're going to have the first part that's going to have the class of product gallery. It's going to represent the product gallery. Then we're going to have another div that's going to contain things like the titles and stuff. And we're going to have a class of product details. Inside this product gallery, I'm going to create a div that's going to have a class of main image. Inside this main image, I'm going to create an image tag that's going to point to the images folder. It's going to point to gallery item 1.png. After that, I'm going to create another div that's going to have a class of thumbnail list. It's going to represent the other little image that's going to be at the bottom of the main image. Create an image tag. It's going to point to the images folder. It's going to point to gallery item 1.png. This alt text of this is going to be product image. I'll just give this one alt text of thumbnail. Then drag this down 1, 2, 3. And this one is going to be gallery item 2. The next one is going to be gallery item 3. And the last one is going to be gallery item 4. Now I'm going to add the product details. Inside this product details, first of all, we're going to have a paragraph tag. I'm going to have a class of product title. I'm going to have this title in there. After that, I'm going to have another paragraph tag. I'm going to have a class of product price. And in here, I'll just say $49.99. After this paragraph, I'm going to create the select. And this is going to simply represent the size of this product. It's going to have a class of product size. Okay. Then we're going to have options in there. The first option is going to be the default selected option. So it's going to be disabled. Then also it's going to be selected. It's always going to be selected before a user actually makes a choice of which size the user wants to choose. Then the name simply going to select your size. After that, I just create another option. The value of this is going to be S, and it's going to be small size. Drag this down multiple times, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to have M, which is going to be medium. Then here we're going to have M. Then we're going to have L, which is going to be large. Then here is going to be L. Then next we're going to have XL. Is going to be extra large. Then here we're going to have XL. Cool. I'll just wrap this selected inside a div container. I'll just put this inside a div. I'll call this div. Give it a class of size. Then I'll just paste that in here. After this, we're going to have another div. Then we're going to have a class of add to cart container. And inside this one, we're going to have an input. It's going to be of type number. It's going to have a minimum value of 1, which means the value cannot go less than 1. Then the default value is going to be 1. And it's going to have a class of quantity input. After that, we're going to have a button. It's going to have a class of add to cart button. Then simply going to say add to cart. After this, I'm going to have a history tag. It's going to have a class of details heading. It's simply going to say product description. Then after this history tag, I'm going to have a paragraph tag. It's going to have a class of product description. Inside this paragraph tag, we're going to have this long paragraph in there as a product description. I'll save that. I head back to the web page and you can see those items we just added right here. Okay, so now we have to start applying styles to them. So I just copy this class, this product section class. I'll copy this. I'm going to head to the style of CSS file. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a margin top and bottom of 50 pixels, left and right of auto, a maximum width of 1200 pixels, and a width of 90%. Now I'll target the product container. So down here I'll say dot product section dot. I'm gonna copy that product container class name. I just copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give you a display of flex and a gap of 20 pixels. Now I want this side, this left hand side and this right hand side to occupy equal size. So I'm going to give them a flex of 1. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. Then I'll say dot the product gallery. I'll give it a flex of 1. And also I'll do the same thing for the product details. So the product details, I'll also give it a flex of 1. Okay, that way you are going to occupy equal space. Okay, 50-50%. I'm going to focus on styling the image. That's the product gallery. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. Then I'll target the dot main image class. I'll target the image in there. I'll give this a height of 450 pixels, a width of 100%, object fit. I'll use contain. I'm going to give the image a background color of #F7F7F7, a border radius of 10 pixels, and a margin bottom of 2 pixels. So next I'm going to target the other images, okay? But first of all, I'll just place them in a grid display. I'll paste that underneath here and get rid of this. Then I'm going to say the thumbnail lists. Lists 1L. I'll give it a display of grid, a gap of 10 pixels, and a grid template columns of 1FR, 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 because I want 4 items per row. Okay, I want 4 images. Those images I want 4 per row. That's why I'm doing that. If you go to the final project, you're going to notice that we have 4 of this image per row. That's what I'm trying to achieve. But there's actually a better way to do this. Instead of writing 1FR 4 times, I can just do repeat 4 times. And I'll say 1FR. It's simply going to do the same thing as that one, but this one is actually shorter. Then after that, I'm going to target the individual images. So I'll copy this. I'll paste that underneath here. I'll target the image inside this thumbnail list. Each of these images will give them a height of 100 pixels, a width of 100%, object fit. We're going to use contain. We'll give them a background color of #F7F7F7, border radius of 8 pixels, and a cursor of pointer. And also I want to target the active image class. So I'll copy this, I'll paste that underneath here. I want to say dot active. I'll give this a border of 1 pixel solid color primary. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you can see the images right here. Then I'll just add this active class to one of our image to act as the active class. I just copy this. I'll head back to the product.html file. I'll give this one a class of active. I'll save that. When I head back to the web page, you can see right now this one is the active class. Cool. So next we're going to start styling the items on the right hand side. Okay, so I'll go to my style of CSS file. Down here I'm going to say dot product section dot product details. I'll target the product title, so I'll say product title. I'll give you a font size of 1.5 rem, a font width of 500, color of text primary, and a margin bottom of 15 pixels. If I want to target the product price, I'll just copy this. I'll paste that underneath here and I'll say dot product price. I'll give you a font size of 2 rem and a font width of 600. If I want to target the product size container, that size container, paste that underneath here. I'll say dot product size. I think we gave it a class of product size. Let me check it out. We gave it a class of, I think, their product size. I give this a padding top and bottom of 8 pixels, left and right of 12 pixels, a border of 1 pixel solid light gray, a border radius of 5 pixels, margin top of 8 pixels, and cursor of pointer. Then down here, I just paste that right here again. Now target the add to cart container. This add to cart container, I'll copy this. I'll just paste that right here. Give this a display of flex and a gap of 10 pixels and a margin top of 12 pixels. Now I'm going to target the input, so I just copy this. I paste this underneath here. Now I'll target the quantity input. This quantity input, I'll target this. I just copy the class name. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this a width of 60 pixels, a padding of 8 pixels, a border of 1 pixel solid light gray, a font size of 1 rem, and a border radius of 5 pixels. Next, I want to target the add to cart button, so I'll copy this again and paste that underneath here. Then I just copy that class from my product.html file. It's going to be this add to cart button. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here, my style.css file. We'll give this a background color of color primary, a color of white, border of none. We're going to give it a padding 8 pixels top and bottom, 20 pixels left and right. Border radius, we're going to use 4 pixels. And lastly, cursor of pointer. And also, we're going to add a hover effect to this. So I'll copy this. I'll paste it right here. And when someone hovers on the button, I want to give it a background color of hover. Next, we're going to target the header. So I'll say dot product section dot product details. We'll target the header details. So I'll just copy that as this details heading. I'll just copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give you a font size of 1.2 rem, a font width of 500, a color of text primary, and a margin top and bottom 10 pixels, left and right of 0. And lastly, I'll target the product description itself. So I'll just paste that down here again. Now I'll copy the class from my product.html file. It's going to be this product description text, the class name. I'll paste that right here. We'll give this a font size of 0.95 rem, a color of text secondary, and a line height of 1.5 rem. I'll save that. Now I head back to the web page. You can see that these items are completely styled, but the background of this button is looking weird. Let me check at the button background. Okay, I'm saying background attachment, not background attachment, background color. I'll save that. Yeah. So now we have to ensure this is responsive. So I'll just go to developer tools. Now, as usual, we're just going to give this a flex direction of column for small screen devices. Okay. So I just go to my style.css file, copy the class. Where's that class? It's going to be this class right here. I'll copy this. I'll head to my responsive.css file. I'll paste that right here. I'll just give this a flex direction of column. I'll save that. I head back to the web page. Now when I reduce the screen size, you're going to notice that it's going to be arranged in a flex direction of column for small screen devices. But we have another problem. Now these products gallery, they're having a no, remember we already created a class called product gallery in our index.html file for these items right here. We created a class of product gallery for these shop items. Okay, and for small screen devices, we give this product gallery a grid template columns of 1fr. Okay, we're gonna want 2 items per row. So that's the exact same class that has been applied to this product gallery. So we just have to change the name. So instead of the product.html file to have a class of product gallery, I just call it product view. The product view gallery. Then I'll just copy this. I'll update that in my style.css file where I started using product gallery. Right here, I just copy this. 1, 2, 3. I think that's about it. Then instead of product gallery, I'll just use I'll use product view gallery. This one changes to product view gallery. Save that, head back to the web page. Yeah, those styles are no longer being applied. Cool. And with that, we are done actually designing the product page. So next, what we want to work on is I want to work on this right here. When we click on an image, it's going to take us to that image. When we click on an image, it's going to show that image as our main image. So we're going to achieve this using JavaScript. So I'll go back to my product.html file. I'm going to give this image a unique ID. I'll just give this image a unique ID. I'll give it an ID of current image. Then I'll give this ones a class of thumbnail. Create a class here. Then it's going to have a class of, I just copy this thumbnail class. I'll copy this. I'll paste that right here. I'll give this on the class of thumbnail. Cool. Now we're going to use JavaScript to actually target them. So I'll go to my script.js file. Down here, I'm going to say const current image is equals to documents dot get elements by the ID name. I'll just copy the current image class we just created right now. This current image, the ID I meant to say, the current image ID. I'll copy that. I'll head to my script.js. I'll just paste that right here. So next, I want to target the thumbnail images. Okay, these are the images right here, these little images right here. So down here, I will say const thumbnails is equals to documents dot query selector. I want all the thumbnail images. I just paste that class name right here. Copy the class, which is going to be this thumbnail class. And I'll just paste that right here. Cool. And remember that this one we are targeting, this main image, is actually one item, but these other ones are actually multiple items. So when we target this thumbnail, we are getting four items. Okay, 4 documents from the HTML. So we have to actually look through these 4 documents. So I'll go back to my JavaScript. Now I'm going to say thumbnails dot for each. I'll call it a call each of them a thumbnail. And for each of the thumbnail, I'm going to add an event listener. Dot add event listener. I'm going to listen for a click event on the images. Then when someone clicks on it, I want to run a function. I'm simply going to set the current image. I'll set the src property to this.src. Okay, I'll save that. Now what I'm doing is that, remember that each of these image property has an attribute called src. Okay, so I'm accessing that src. I'm setting the src of this image to the src of the image I clicked on. Okay, that way when I click on this image, it's going to set the src to this one. When I click on it, it's going to set src to this one. Okay, so I'll go back to the web page, I'll refresh. Then when I click on this, it's going to set it to this one. When I click on this, it's going to set it to this one. When I click on this, it's going to set it to this one. Now we also have to update this active border and the image. Okay, so then I'm going to say thumbnails dot for each thumb. I'll call this one thumb. I'm going to say thumb dot class list dot remove. I'm removing the active class from the previous image, and I'm simply just going to add it to, I'll say this dot class list dot add. I'm going to add it to the one we actually clicked on, add active. Now I'll save that. I head back to the web page. When I click and our active class is not being applied, what's happening? Okay, this one is supposed to be inside the event listener. It's supposed to be inside the event listener, not outside, because when we click on each of the images, that's when we want to run this right here. Okay, I'll save that. Just format the documents, save that, head back to the web page. I won't click on this. You're going to notice right now our image gallery is actually working. Our product image gallery is working. And when we head to mobile devices, it's actually going to just go to iPhone 12 Pro. It's still going to look okay. Cool. For mobile phone, these images are not looking really cute, so I'm going to add some styles to them to make them look better. So I'll go to my style of CSS. So I look for those styles, which is going to be the first one, the main image. I just copy this. I want to reduce the height for mobile device. I head to my responsive of CSS for mobile devices. I'll paste that right here. I just give this a height of 300 pixels instead of 450 pixels. I'll do the same for the other images, other little images. I just copy it, and this one initially is 100 pixels of height, so I just reduce it to about 60 pixels. I'll save that. Sorry, height of about 60 pixels. Head back to the web page, and you can see this actually looks better. I can click on it to actually change the image that we're actually viewing. Cool. So next we just have to add the featured products, because in the finished product, you're going to notice that we have actually similar products. Okay, let's just add this section. So I'll create a section. I'll just create a section after this product section. I want to create another section. I really don't have to actually create another section. I'll just copy the one section from, I'll just copy this latest section. I'll just copy this, head to the product of HTML file, just paste that underneath here. And instead of it being new arrivals, it's going to be similar products. Spell out products correctly. Products. I'll save that, head back to the web page, and you can see we have that section right here. So lastly, we're just going to add the footer. So I'll copy the footer, go to the index.html file, just copy the footer. Then I'll paste the footer underneath here. Cool, save that. Yeah, and with that, we are done with the product page. We are basically done with the website. We have the home page, the shop page, the about page, the contact page, the map, and also we won't go to the shop page. We'll click on a product. We have the product page. I'll check this on mobile device. Everything looks okay. Go to the shop page, and I want to reduce the height of this header. So I'll just search for it. I'll go to style CSS file. Where is that header? The header general is going to be, or the hero general. Yeah, I just copy this hero general. Alright, to the responsive of CSS, I just want to reduce the height of that whole general for mobile device. I'll give it, instead of 400, just give it a height of 300 pixels. I'll save that. And this is actually better for mobile devices. And with that, we are done building this e-commerce website. Now, if you enjoyed this build, if you enjoyed this project, you learned something for this, smash on the like button and leave a comment below. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm to push this content to more people just like you who are going to find it helpful, and basically just consider it as a little way of you supporting the channel. And lastly, if you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next project we're going to build together on this channel. I'll see you in the next video.